Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another episode. Today's question, should you wear a helmet while kitesurfing? And before just saying, yeah, of course, it protects your head and it looks shitty, so that's why I forced my kid to wear one, we should have a closer look at this topic. Let's go. And before we start, yesterday was the GKA event in Brazil, in the north of Brazil, a big air event. Edgar Ulrich took the win. Man, the level was insane. Check it out here. Edgar with some really high technicality, super high risk, doing mega loop handle passes. I mean, that's pretty much insane.
I got something now to get the people on the floor.
If you haven't watched my last video, which is about how to evaluate those big air jumps, what to look for, and so on, check it out here. And now let's get started with the helmet. In my opinion, there's no clear yes or no if you should wear a helmet or not. I will give you some recommendations at the end of the video. My name is Marian Hund. I've been a professional kitesurfer for many years. I started kitesurfing very young as a kid, I think at the age of 10, 11, something like this. And of course, I was also forced to wear a helmet at the very beginning. And over the years, the helmet gave me confidence, definitely. It also protected me against some injuries, definitely. But over the years, I figured out that I might be in a better position without the helmet, and I want to share my thoughts with you. Generally speaking, what is the main purpose of a helmet? Of course, it's supposed to protect you from injuries and avoid objects penetrating your head. This especially makes sense in the environment of sharp stones, tough surfaces, and other edgy things.
Here's you, Pussy, you good?
Helmets! I love helmets!
But how does it look like if you're surrounded by water, as we are as kitesurfers? Don't get me wrong, when we're launching and landing, we're sharing the same element with downhill bikers. But once we did that transition to the water, the situation changes. So once you have made your transition to the water, the helmet is only beneficiary if there are objects in the water, if you're sharing the water with many other kiters and there's a potential risk that it might come to a crash with another kiter, or the water is really shallow, or you have some strong, difficult onshore conditions and there might be a risk that you're getting in contact with land. But other than that, if you're in crystal clear, blue, deep water and there are no objects around, a helmet, in my opinion, is not needed and also can be disadvantages. Let's make a basic comparison. A helmet usually makes your cross-sectional area of the head greater because you're wearing something around your head, so the whole area or the whole surface that smashes into the water is bigger. And as we all know, bigger surfaces make bigger splashes with more forces involved. On the other hand, if you have something very thin like a needle and you penetrate the water perfectly, there is no splash at all. And that's actually the whole story. Let's put this in a mathematical context, like a really rough one. Let's say the standard head circumference, like the average one, is around 56 centimeters. And this gives us a radius of around 9 centimeters, roughly. And which brings us to a total cross-sectional area. Like cross-sectional area is the one if you cut an object into half and look at the area or the surface you see. This gives us a cross-sectional area of around 250 square centimeters. So let's say the helmet adds another 3 centimeters on each side. So the radius increases from 9 centimeters to around 12 centimeters. If we square those 12 centimeters, multiply it by p, we're ending up around 450 square centimeters. And if we compare 450 square centimeters to 250 square centimeters, which is the cross-sectional area without the helmet, we're having an increase of around 80%, which is quite enormous. And what you also have to take into consideration is that the kinetic energy is always velocity square. So if you double the speed, you will have 4 times the energy. And this brings me to my next point. If you're wearing a helmet and let's say your cross-sectional area has increased by 80% and you're doing some high-speed maneuvers like mega loops or high-speed foiling or Wag Style, then there's the chance that that 80% increase in cross-sectional area becomes a really big problem if you're dealing with super high speeds, because then the energy just explodes the total energy. And as I said in the beginning, bigger energy means bigger impact for your head, means more stress for your neck, for your shoulders, but also a bigger risk of like a concussion or even a knockout. And a knockout is definitely nothing beneficial to have when you're on the water or underwater. So as you can see, there are always two sides that need to be considered. As promised in the beginning of the video, I will give you a couple of examples where I would wear a helmet or where I wouldn't wear a helmet. Let's start with number one. Would I generally put on a helmet, especially for kids? The answer is no. I would not generally put on a helmet, but to be honest, in most situations, especially with kids, I would put on a helmet. Generally put on a helmet as a beginner in challenging conditions for launching and landing? Absolutely yes, no question about that. Would I generally put on a helmet as a beginner when foiling, wing foiling and so on? Yes, I would. And I would even think about like a face protection, like those ice hockey helmets. Would I put on a helmet when training for big air and mega loops? No, I wouldn't. I would definitely pay attention that I'll keep the distance to the shore. I would definitely pay attention that I like stay away from other kiters to minimize that risk, not having a crash with anybody else. But for mega loops and big air kitesurfing, I would not generally put on a helmet. Would I put on a helmet for training Wag Style? Also, clear no. You're dealing with very high speeds and therefore I wouldn't put on a helmet. But one positive thing about a helmet, it often comes with ear protection. And that ear protection can effectively protect you from eardrum ruptures. Yes, so that's it. That were my 2 cents regarding the helmet topic. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything to discuss, please leave a comment in the comment section. And yeah, happy to see you next time.